but it is never worth it. For example, failing to take the few minutes it will take you to wash your hands at the times that you know that you need to. You may think that you're saving a few minutes here and there by doing something that perhaps you don't think is important. But remember that hand washing is the most important means of infection control. And if you sacrifice this step, you are putting your clients and yourself at risk for infections. And what happens when a person becomes infected with, for example, a bladder infection? They will begin to suffer symptoms like frequency. That means they're going to be asking you to take them to the bathroom 10 times a day, maybe. And then you haven't saved any time at all. Not asking your client what else they need before you leave the room when you're done with the cares that you have done with that client, please stop and ask them before you walk out of the room what else they need from you. If you don't, you're very likely to find yourself starting to engage in your next duty and finding that that client is ringing their call light asking you to come back to do some small thing that you forgot to do for them before you left. A shortcut you should not take is to neglect helping your coworkers. Again, your coworkers need you as much as you need them. Do you know the phrase, what goes around comes around? The more likely you are to be eager and willing to help your coworkers, well, the more likely they are to be eager and willing to help you. And believe me, you will need their help. It is a team effort. Not spending extra time with your high-need clients is a shortcut that you should not consider taking. Your high-need clients will require more of your time. Plan for that. Plan to make more trips to that room. Make it a part of your schedule, and don't skimp on the time that they need from you. Forgetting to anticipate the needs of your clients. This is a step above simply meeting the needs of your clients as they ask you to meet them. This can be, for example, if you're walking down the hall, perhaps in a long-term care facility, and you see a client in their room. Well, they look fine, but if you look closer, you realize they look a little restless, a little fidgety maybe. And if you think about it, you realize it's probably been quite a while since they used the bathroom. Now you, at that point, have a choice to go in that room to stop what you were going to do and go in that room and take care of that client and ask them if they would like to use the bathroom. Or you can choose to keep walking and pretend you didn't see anything. If you choose to keep walking and save time, following your agenda, what may happen is that that client will perhaps try to get up on their own and use the bathroom without your help, and from that serious incident, perhaps injuries can result. So that is a shortcut you simply cannot take. Not communicating with your nurse. When things happen with your clients that you know your nurse needs to know about, if someone tells you that they're in pain, if a client appears to be more confused than usual or appears to be ill for some reason, is not quite right that day, it will require a little time from you to go out of your duties that you had planned for those few minutes at that time, to stop your agenda and go to your nurse and tell her what you've seen. But that is a shortcut you can never choose to take because it is so important to do that right away. You also would like to make your nurse aware if you are running behind schedule. Your nurse is responsible for the overall care of the clients that you are caring for. And he or she needs to know if you are having trouble meeting all of your client's needs. Perhaps she can offer you some problem solving, some assistance, or some other suggestions to help you get your work done on time. Safety measures, such as using a transfer belt to transfer a client from bed to chair, for instance. This is a measure which takes time from you, takes time to do, especially if you don't have the transfer or gait belt with you and you have to make another trip to go get it. This takes time. It may be tempting to skip that step. You can never opt to skip that step. It is too much of a safety risk for your client. To skip that safety measure puts them in jeopardy of falling or another injury. Never forget to honor the rights of your clients. It takes time from you to knock on the door, to try to get their permission before you enter the room, to pull the curtain to shut the door before you do your cares, to explain to them what you are doing, to reschedule your tasks if they suddenly decide they don't want to take a bath right now. All of these things take time from you, but these are not shortcuts that you could ever take. You could never skip those things. They are too important, and they are a requirement from you in providing quality care for your clients. Well, now that I've described all the shortcuts that you cannot take, and I've made it sound like it's going to take you all day to get your work done, I do want to go over some shortcuts that you can take. Yes, there are some things that you can do to become more efficient with your time. Personal conversations. This means gabbing with your coworkers. It is fun. It can steal minutes away from your work, of what you are doing. You want to cut short the personal conversations with your coworkers. No matter how juicy the gossip is, it can wait until break time. Dawdling and lingering. Think about the time you spend doing a certain task and compare that with the time that perhaps another coworker of yours who is more efficient with their time. How long does it take them to do the same thing? Are you spending more time than they are? Can you pick up your pace? Try to match their time. If it can be done in less time, you can do it in less time. Any hesitancy to obtain information, cut short your reluctance to look into a chart or a care plan and find that information that you're going to need to safely care for your clients. You don't want to put off finding out how a client transfers until that moment when they ask you to transfer them or when you need to, because then you'll find yourself backtracking to go and look that up. You also want to cut short your reluctance to ask questions. It can be embarrassing at first to be asking what feels like stupid questions. But remember, no question is a stupid question. You need to find out the information that you need to know in order to provide quality care for your clients. So just go ahead and ask, and you'll be glad that you did and that you have the information. You want to cut short excessively long break times. Watch the clock when you go on break and be sure that you get back on time. Because remember that in your absence, your coworkers are picking up your workload in your absence and taking care of your clients. And just think how precious 5 minutes can be to take care of what needs to be done. Don't rob yourself of precious few minutes in getting back to your shift and getting your